Okay, Day Drinking with David. We're back again. I am super psyched to be here. Things are opening up in LA and the rest of California. We have our first event tonight, which I can't believe is happening. El Tesoro dinner at Miramay. Very, very exciting. And that's sold out. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned it, but voila. All distance still. We've got a bunch of beautiful people coming to the outdoor patio there. And it's just another little quick day drinking here to highlight a couple new products we have. There's a lot going on. We're hoping to, Russ Turner here is here. Russ Turner's here. He's noted my eyes are beautiful. Okay, thanks, Russ. It's awkward. Well, anyway, there's so much going on right now. We have our container has officially left Scotland, which is very, very exciting. This is one of the most exciting containers we've had in ages. It's filled with new 700s of fancy stuff from Hunter Lang. It's filled with incredible casks of rum from Golden Devil, the Ben Nevis and Tormore and Edrington blend from Dornoch, Thompson Brothers, who can no longer use the Thompson Brother name. And we've also got the Hart Brothers stuff. So that's on its way. The other thing that's happening is our first shipment from Italy is also on its way, and we're sending an email out today. Ben Rinnes, Ben Rinnes coming. It's 7 year in sherry. It's killer. Unfortunately, there's only 60 bottles for us, but many of these spirits will be on sale in a pre-arrival sense soon. We've loaded up just the young sherried malt so far. That's a 12-year-old Mortlach sherry. Blair Athol 12-year sherry, both $60, I think incredibly reasonable, excellent quality whiskeys, and a young 10-year-old Daluin in sherry. There's also an older Inchgower in sherry and some very old sherried Tullibardine, and I believe there's a sherried Tormore. We've just gotten in the Kalila 18-year from Gordon MacPhail. An endless supply of Scotch. Finally, with the tariffs gone, things are opening back up. And, we'll sadly, a lot of our suppliers are sort of trying to finagle one and keep the prices high. But, we're pressing, trying to keep these, getting our prices back to a reasonable place so we can start selling Lagavulin and Talisker and Kalila Standard, Kleinlich again. Like, these are whiskeys that were core to our business for years, and in the last year and a half have disappeared. It just doesn't make sense for us to stock them when the much larger competitors are selling it for less than it costs us. So I don't want to do that to my customers. In any case, we have some fun. The got it hothead question here is, how is the Kalila 18-year? It's spectacularly good. First fill bourbon barrel. This is the Gordon MacPhail. I was a little confused. I've been talking about it here for several weeks, maybe more. And Tristan's here. Hey, Tristan. I'll see you tonight, right, buddy? Several weeks we've been talking about the Kalila, assuming distilled in 2001 that it would be a 20-year. Apparently, without my knowledge, it had, when the samples were sent here, it had already been bottled. So even though it was selected more than a year ago, it is only 18 years, and it was distilled in 2001. But old Kalila in first fill barrels, it's pretty difficult to find. We see it occasionally. We've had some offers from Signatory here and there. There's a lot of young Kalila. There's a lot of Kalila, expensive Kalila. And this isn't inexpensive by any means. I think it's well priced for what it is, considering where the market is. I think this actually got tariffed, which sucks. But the price, we really, really chiseled them on the price. And and we were able to keep it under 200, which is good. I mean, for the quality of the whiskey, old Isla, first fill barrel, cask strength, there's very, very little out there in that 18 plus range under 200. So Hollywood store is opening in May, hopefully, fingers crossed. I can't imagine we go backwards from here. We don't have an exact open date, mid-May, hopefully. We're kind of a lot of logistic hoops to jump through in all our stores, but hopefully sooner than later. I can't give you a better time frame than that. But in the meantime, lots of new stuff. The wonderful Whiskey Archives brand. This is the brand started by our friends at Whiskybase. Some of you may be members. I think most whiskey lovers have at least stumbled across the site, if not own accounts and track their collection that way. It's pretty handy. They started bottling some years ago, and we've been lucky to get the exclusive in California so far. We're talking, they split one cask across the United States. So we're talking 3 cases of this, 4 cases of that. We had a little bit of Williamson, Young Lafroig. It's quite expensive, but very good. And this gorgeous Glen Elgin, which I had almost 24 bottles of. So I'm excited to taste this. We don't really get to taste them. We do get samples, but it's not like I'm selecting them. Any more Glen Scotia coming to your stores? Yeah, we're working on Glen Scotia. Did you ask this last week? They've taken a massive price increase, so we'll stock it case by case. We'll be getting the new Jazz Fest bottling, and we're working to get the price down. I mean, they took a 25% price increase. And you're sort of like, I don't know what to say. Like, it doesn't make sense at a certain point. I want to say I can sell anything, but of course, we can't. And Glen Scotia is a great distillery. It deserves the recognition, but it also needs to be affordable. And there needs to be value there. So this is Malbien. This is the infamous black tape from Tomás and Emiliano Gutierrez. Most people probably haven't heard of those people, but for Mezcal geeks, he is really, one of the very, very top dogs, up there with La Locura, with Eduardo Angeles, and a couple of other people who are renowned within Mexico. These were exclusively bottled under a cooperative brand called Sansacan, from Guerrero, in a little region in the northwest part of the state, northeastern part of the state, that's really quite difficult to get to. And it's been difficult for them to commercialize their products. But our friends at Malbien actually went and visited them, and were able to select this incredible batch, distilled in 2014, aged in glass. They call it Maduro in Vidrio. So it's not aged, but they do call it matured. Of course, glass is inert, but there is still chemical processes going on in the glass, interaction with oxygen, a change in the molecular composition of the spirit itself. So many active, complex chemicals that go into that. And this stuff just blew me away. I had one taste with the boys from Malbien and committed to the whole batch. Oh my God, I can't wait to get that into me mouth. And then Calumet Farms, another old bourbon, very well priced, I should say, for the age. This is a brand that, of course, was founded as a horse farm many, many, many years ago, and goes to show you, if you know the right people in Kentucky, there might be whiskey out there. That said, they've been around for a little while. You may have seen their products, the small batch 8-year, in the big sort of lumbering decanter style bottles. which I'm sure some people like. I could never get past it. For us in retail, you look at that and you say, oh my God, I've got to sell twice as much or 3 times as much because it takes up so much space on the shelf. But they put their higher end stuff, I think is really fun, into the tall, sort of classic, I guess we'd call this the Cognac case or Armagnac case bottle, which is, I think, a fine package for, what counts as what's inside. They refer to this as the single rack black. I have not been able to figure out what that is. I'm sure they can tell me why it's called that. Yes, shelf locked. And it's non-chill filtered. It is a big topic in my world these days. It says it's a Triple Crown winner, which I think is a bit much. And it's got a trainer name, and it bottled it 19 barrels at 52.5. It is Kentucky bourbon, and I was certain that this was the same stuff as Doc Swinson's when I first saw it pop up. But of course, it's not. It is a different mash bill, and one look at the mash bill, and you can assume that it is indeed distilled in Bardstown. So that gives you an idea. Only one working distillery and it's not Willett, I'll tell you what. One working distillery, one of 2 working distilleries. Oh, they weren't working back then either. This is 15 years old, so it's 2005-ish. Heaven Hill is gone. There was only Barton at the time, so this is likely Barton. They do state that it is distilled in Bardstown on their website, although I don't see it on the bottle now that I'm looking at it. I guess. Lots of horse references. No, it doesn't say anything about Bardstown on here. No. Triple Crown winner is a reference to, I guess, a horse that the farm Calumet had raised in 1941. Whirl Away. Not a big horse guy, but it's the Derby this week or next week. And, who knows? Whatever. We're going to start with the Mezcal because I can't wait. So this is distilled from Papalote, which is the colloquial name for Cupreata. The process for distillation is pretty typical for the area. We're talking underground pits. We're talking it's actually milled in a slightly more modern, quote unquote, way. So with a wood chipper, and I'm gonna get some. They use some pretty interesting oak to smoke these, which I thought was fun. It was the part of the unique flavor profile is the use of. Oh, where is it? The Gutierrez family? Yes, Encino, so that's oak. Tepehuixco and Tepehuixco wood. I'm sure I'm pronouncing those incorrectly. So it's smoked over these 3 different types of wood, which is, a huge factor in the flavor of, oh my God, damn it. In the flavor of the Mezcal, and then naturally fermented for 6 days in wooden tanks, double distilled on tiny copper pot stills, and adjusted just with puntas y colas, so that's the heads and tails. And then it was filled into like basically a gallon jug. We'd say demijohn. And sat in the palenque or in the, I guess they'd call it a taberna here, for a long time. This is 2014, nearly 7 years. So the flavors when you're mature in glass, they soften, they develop a lot of the green vegetal character, which is typical of Cupreata, mellows significantly more into some tropical fruit, great bundle of spices, big clove, cassia bark. There's some real complex earthy elements to it. It's not smoky at all. There's a crazy green citrus lime note. Some papaya, mango. So much character here. It's not overpowering at all. It is this is full proof. Cut down to 47 and change. Sorry, 46.7. It doesn't lose proof the way an aged spirit might. Wood aged, I should say. But there is an interactive element with the, maybe it does, it depends on how they seal it. I've seen some mezcaleros seal these jugs with plastic tops, would obviously prevent any interaction. Other ones use like dried corn husk. Husk is the wrong word. Corn cob that's wrapped in cheesecloth. And so that would obviously, allow some diffusion. Any organic material can be permeable to air. But there's some air in the jugs anyway. I'm not certain exactly how he would stop his. I should ask Ben and Anthony. But I hadn't thought of it until now. So this is just spectacular on the nose. So much going on. Wow. Now it's getting a little smoky, which I love. Obviously, very unique wood smoke character. It's not that mesquite barbecue thing. There's a strong peppery note, tons of that tropical fruit, which is I think the hallmark here of that aging. Will we see the Cinco Sentidos Pechuga de Mole come through? Yes, I was just, Mateo has asked about that. I was just pinged on that from the local distributor. It is apparently in stock, so we'll be getting it likely next week. Oh, God, this thing, though. Come on. This is now tons of orange peel, citrus. The citrus thing has really taken hold, which I love. Life is an orange joint, so perfect timing. This is so orangey. Tropical. There is this guava note that is so special. Oh, I don't like spitting that out. That's a bummer. Yeah, I have a tequila dinner tonight, so I gotta stay frosty, but that was not easy. So, onward. Glen Elgin, Whiskey Archives, our friends. They're based in Rotterdam. They have pretty good access to some pretty interesting stuff. I think they're very much purchased by committee. So there's not one person saying, "Oh, this is what we want to buy or bottle." I think the prices have been relatively reasonable considering the stocks they get, and this cask in particular was distilled at Glen Elgin, a distillery that I think remains underappreciated, even though it's becoming more prominent. Someone's asked about the Clase Azul Guerrero Mezcal. We got 6 bottles. It sold out. They're being super stingy with it. We thought we were good at Clase Azul account, but apparently not that good. It's so hot, that stuff. And, I know everybody wants that fancy bottle, and the bottle, I have to admit, is gorgeous, but nothing better in Guerrero being made than this right here. This is the top dog. But I know it's not always about the glass, what's inside the glass, at least. Not to say that the Clase Azul isn't delicious, but it's no Tomás. Nothing's Tomás. So, Glen Elgin, this is cask number 3800324, 271 bottles, cask strength of 59.9, 12 years in hogshead, distilled in December of 2007 and bottled in January of 2020. So some time now it's been in bottle. I think there was some ownership change at Whiskybase, so there was a delay in this batch. It's a small batch this year. We bought a pretty fun barrel of American whiskey from them, the Heaven Hill aged in Scotland, which is pretty fab. So this is very pungent, floral, fruit forward, very Elgin-y. Glen Elgin tends to have this really particular fruit character. It is one of these very fruity Speysiders. We don't get a huge amount of access to it, so mostly what I've tasted over the years are, hogsheads. I think the few that I've tasted in sherry, I think it does really nicely in, really highlights that fruitiness. It's kind of like a musty, like an earthy fruit, which is odd, but I mean, that's the malt speaking there. This is gorgeous. This has big sort of apple note. Some subtle citrus character. Clean, earthy malt. A little bit chocolatey on the palate. Definitely has less of that fruitiness. We just had another Elgin. The signatory one that we've selected is a similar age range, and I think it may be actually a similar batch now that I think about it. I should look at those notes. It's very much more of that fruitiness. This has more malt. It has that chocolatey, dark chocolate sort of roasted quality to it. Lovely expansion, sort of the floral aromatic with a little bit of water. Cleaner now. Less of that musty fruit. Lots of apple, pear, fresh apricots, things like that. Okay. Delish. Yeah, that still has that great kind of cocoa character. Light kind of, there's a light minerality back there. Again, that maltiness, that clean malt. It's a fun little cask. I mean, we only have a few cases of this, but if you're a Glen Elgin fan or just like a good clean Speyside, that's not a bad choice. And onward to bourbon. Oh, I have do you guys want me to, I have a sample of the new Sagamore Rye, which I thought was pretty fun, because it's finished in tequila barrels. They wanted me to taste this. That's pretty unusual. Straight rye whiskey finished in tequila barrels. I think we'll taste it together. This is batch 2A, before we get onto the Calumet. Has no additional information. 49%. And it doesn't tell us which tequila it's finished in. We don't see a lot of tequila finishes. This is an extra añejo. To be honest, the tequila, most of the tequila barrels are pretty well used up. But I guess if you take an old extra añejo and finish it fresh, could have some character, serious character, pretty dark color on that. Sagamore stuff is pretty pungent already. This is a distillery outside of Baltimore, focused on rye. It's all their own distillate. Oh, that's very unusual. Oh, that is something else. There's super candied, baked fruit. Some rye spice behind that, but wow, it smells like mapley, almost like root beer, sarsaparilla character. That's definitely got some very, very pungent influence from the tequila barrel. I really wonder what tequila finished Scotch could be in the future. Yes. I don't know. It's funny because, typically what happens is in Mexico, they don't necessarily, some of the newer, more modern producers are using higher quality oak, newer oak, once used oak, but a lot of the traditional producers really want the third and fourth fill barrels, meaning something that was distilled in Kentucky, aged for 4 to 6 years, sent to Scotland, aged for another 10 plus, and then, you know, dumped and filled again. So a lot of the stuff that you see in tequila is 30, 40 years old, and they're using it because they don't really want the oak, which is why you can, you know, sometimes see an añejo that's much lighter than that. Then again, there are a lot of producers using new oak, using, you know, agave is unique because the spirit itself can be quite delicious right off the bat. But this has a very, very unusual character. Yeah, Yaz notes that it does sound weird, and it is a bit weird, you know, and you know, weird isn't bad. Weird can be good. I mean, weird has to be, you can be weird and good, you know. Weird for weird's sake, in at least for me, is fun for a glass, but not a bottle. So it's always tough to get behind something just because it's different tasting. It needs to be different and delicious. I think this definitely straddles the line nicely. It's not like any rye on the market today. And behind all those unusual flavors, there is this underlying kind of minty rye character, which I think keeps it all together. I'd recommend it. We're currently tasting the Sagamore. Sorry, I haven't really talked about that much. The Sagamore Distiller Select, aged in extra añejo tequila barrels. Very, very unusual and pretty interesting nose. We don't have this in stock yet. You know, it's more typical rye on the palate. You do get some of those sweet flavors, a little more honey, definitely some peppery notes, which I think could be seen in both tequila and rye. So that's pretty unusual. It's got definitely has a bite to it. It's got some tannin there for sure, which is interesting. Those barrels are still very, very active. So that's pretty fun. So we'll think about that one. Probably bring it in a case or two. This is the Calumet Farms 15-year. Just arrived. I bought as much as they let me have. You know, we haven't done too much with Calumet, but I think, you know, really excited to have some nice old fun whiskey. I think it's sold out right now, but you'll see in the coming days the rest of the stocks come online. It was transferred up to the warehouse to distribute to our other stores, and I guess I should have kept some more in LA because it seems to have sold out. And we have pretty good price on it. I see, you know, other people selling for $20, $30 more than us, and you know, we're definitely trying to keep it reasonable. But for a 15-year at 120 bucks, it's pretty good value. It's a fun color here, very classic. And as I said previously, this is all distilled in Bardstown according to their website. 19 barrels. It isn't cask strength. They've brought it down to 105, which I think is a nice drinking proof. It is non-chill filtered, which I, you know, always prefer. And I believe it to be Barton, considering it said that it was distilled in Bardstown on their website. The mash bill should be obvious. It is... it should be obvious, but of course I can't remember exactly. I think it was 18% rye, with the difference being, let me pull it up here. Oh, there we go. So, 18%, 18% rye, 74% corn, 8% malted barley. It says distilled. Well, that's a little concerning. It says distilled / aging location. I guess it was distilled and aged in Bardstown. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a little Bunnahabhain, Glencairn. Ooh, yeah, great nose. Great big nose. Big vanilla. A little bit of that flambéed banana. That really is Barton-y for me. Some earthy spice behind it. Oh, Nathan, you got my email. I'm so glad. Yeah, feel free to reach out if you ever need anything else, man. I'm surprised there's not more like pepperiness to it. It's pretty sweet on the nose. It's, I mean, high-ish rye here. Big, oaky, spicy on the palate. Yeah, big clove, big cinnamon. Pretty drinkable at 105, but doesn't feel watery. Great texture. Super, super rich. Lots of kind of like oak, smoky, vanilla, toasted vanilla flavors. Yeah, this is good bourbon. It's great bourbon. It's killer. Super excited to be selling this. Of course, the price is high-ish, but for the market we're in, I think very, very reasonable. You know, Sam Houston 14-year, I haven't had. Houston. Those are really hard to get for us. So haven't had the 14-year, so I couldn't speak to that. Dan has asked if there has any similarities. I don't think the source would be the same, but who knows? Yeah, nice dry finish. Definitely has some big spice on the palate. It's not one of these really, really sweet ones. The wood is there, so you gotta like that woodsiness. I mean, as you'd expect from a 15-year-old Kentucky bourbon. And yeah, it's pretty fun stuff. That rye shines through, gives you that darker character, that spicy note as well. Pretty fun stuff. So yeah, that's a fun new bourbon. We got a couple other things. What just popped in? Oh, they just released a little tiny bit of the Blue Run single barrel, which will be very expensive, but got some. Oh, so, yeah, I guess those are Barton too. Yeah, I didn't get to taste those. They were in and out so quickly. I didn't have a taste. So yeah, maybe they're the same. I thought the Houstons, or is it Houston? I don't know anything about bourbon. I think they were. I thought they were Heaven Hill distilled, but maybe it's Barton. There's a lot of Barton juice out there, and most of it's pretty good. You know, it gets a lot of flack. Of course, the distillery. You know, they make some great products that are very well liked, but I guess they had too much of it. I mean, gosh, that whole freaking warehouse collapse. And when I talked to them, they were sort of like, yeah, no big deal. So we've got a lot of bourbon. And those brands are growing, of course. We were excited, you know, when they released an age-stated 12-year, what have you. So that's fun. Excuse me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Blue Run coming. We've got what else is coming? Oh, the big Scotch, the pre-arrival Scotches. Yeah, it's got to be Barton. There was a lot of Barton out there. That's what I thought the Doc Swinces was. But of course, different mash bill, so we thought it was something else. Any word on Scorch? Brett Colombo coming in hard with the Ardbeg questions. Saturday online, one per customer, per Ardbeg's directions. No, Russell's Dan, you know how to pick them. Russell's picks are still in limbo. NorCal got a new set of picks, and we're totally open. So we might get the 2021 picks before I get the 2019 picks. So who knows? And Yeah, that's keep an eye out the new rums. I mean, none of them are cheap. Although I think the Foursquare is pretty good value. Those are going to be really fun. Got a favorite bottle in the new Scotch container under 200. Well, it all depends on what style you're looking for. I think the Mortlock. I don't have the exact. I think it was quite a long finish. I think it's 2 years or something. It was pretty delicious, I thought. Someone's asking about the pre-arrival Mortlock that's coming. We have so much killer juice on our way. Michter's barrel strength bourbon around the corner. I haven't heard anything about it. The rye came and went. It was very limited, of course. Those are impossible to get. We've been asking them for the barrel strength bourbon. It's pretty opaque in terms of when I'm supposed to meet the guy. Now I can meet people again, which is so weird. I'm supposed to meet the guy at the end of this month from Michter's, so hopefully I'll have some more information about that. The other thing that's happening, we have 2 awesome interviews in the next couple of weeks. Next week, Alan Laws of Laws Whiskey Company, 80 Laws Whiskey in Chicago, and the following week we have Mr. Richard Seal himself. That's very exciting. Since you just tasted the Stoisha, I can assume it isn't on this container. The Stoisha is coming from Signatory, so they've told us that it should be in before June. But, the shipping situation is so bad right now. I think everything should be July, maybe even later. Stores to open in May. We don't have an exact date. I'd say mid to late May is a good guess. Could be sooner, could be June. So heads up there. Keep an eye on the website. There'll be some updates there. How does Doc's Winston's batch 10 compare to previous batches? Well, I thought it reminded me a little bit of the dustiness of the 7. I think I personally like the intensity and the richness of 8. A lot of people have told me that 9 was their favorite. It's very similar. It's a little lower proof here. It's the first not K&L exclusive. So I prefer the K&L exclusives, but that's completely subjective. So I thought it was a lot like the 7, had that sort of dusty, old feeling to it. And yeah, in the quality range of all of them. Again, I thought it was the same juice as the Calumet, but if you taste them side by side, you'll note they're very, very different. Yeah, I mean, not that we get access to a lot of old Barton, but definitely feels in that sort of vein. Same here, Brett. Yep. Looking forward to it too, man. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Lots of Scotch coming. Oh, someone asked my favorite under 200 from the new, I have to look at the list. From the new container, there's so much stuff coming. Let me pull up the list. I have to say the Inchgour kind of shocked me. I was super into that. The Ben Rinus. I don't know if we'll even sell that pre-arrival because it's so limited. This was a Ben Rinus that was just maybe 90 bottles, something tiny little cask of Ben Rinus. Is quite good. So what do we have? We have a lot of fun, expensive stuff. We have a lot of affordable stuff. Of course, the Glenfarclas are killer values. $160 for 28-year-old single barrel cask strength Glenfarclas. Of course, not in any way, like what you'd expect from the distillery because no sherry, but still pretty interesting stuff. I'd say that Ben Rinus is probably my favorite under 200. There's new Hector Macbeth coming. I thought the Linkwood was delicious. God, I can't choose one. I think the Inchgour might be the one that will surprise most people. This is sherried 22-year-old Inchgour for $110. It's awesome. The young Ardbeg, the Kildalton. Are you talking about the Italian stuff, the Meadowside? I didn't get to taste that. The Kildalton, I didn't get to taste. If that's what you're talking about, I just bought it on spec. I mean, there were only 12 bottles, and they're sold out. So I don't think it's unpeated. I think they just call it Kildalton because that's the geographical name that applies. It must be peated. Peated, sherried, Ardbeg. But yeah, 12 bottles of that. That was barely exist. Kurt Archer asked about the JDBP Rye. We got 6 bottles. It sold out instantly, as things tend to when they only give us 6 bottles. We're hoping for more, but you never know. You never know. We love our friends at Brown-Forman, but they probably don't love us because we don't do a lot with their main brand. I think they love us personally, but they wish we were selling more Jack Daniels, and I don't blame them. I wish I was selling more Jack Daniels too, but it's just not our crowd, So we can sell the cask strength all day long when it's available. Sergio is upset by that. It's tough. Any of those national brands, and even some of the good ones, when you have the big box guys jacking the prices down, it's just very, very difficult for us to compete with that. And it's sort of like why, that you don't need to come to K&L to buy a bottle of Jack Black, we'd love to sell you the cask strength, when we can get it. And we used to get barrels available, but it's been difficult. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. Grab that Calumet, sold out right now. It will be back soon. Calumet Farms 15, it's gonna be in the warehouse, $120. The star of the show, though, for me, come on, get that Tomás of Sansican fame, 7 years in glass, K&L exclusive. This is the jam. There's nothing better than that in the store right now, any category. So delicious. And then next week I'm back with at Law's Whiskey Distillery. The Blue Run. Jason is asking about the Blue Run 13.5. Not an insignificant jump in price, almost $50. It is single barrel cask strength. So that was why they raised the price. It's a different product than what was available before, and they raised the price $50. So, voila. We only get, I think there's 60 bottles for California. So it's sort of like, we can take it or not take it. We got to take it. People want that stuff. I think it's very expensive, but it is what it is. That's the whiskey market these days. I think ultimately, if it's a value proposition, there are better things for your dollar. But in terms of trying new spirits and something special like that, it's not the worst you could do. So I'd love it to be, I wish it were 200, even less. But, I could always sell, I can always sell things for less. It's easier to sell cheaper things. That's the fun of the game. What do you think of Alberta Premium Cask Strength? Very good whiskey. Very good whiskey. Very solid. Not something that I would, jump through a million hoops to get. But I didn't decide that it was the best in the world. It is very good, though. We could sell infinite amounts of it, of course. And I think it's probably well worth the price. That's for sure. The value is there. How much is the Tomás? It's not inexpensive. It's $140. Any Smoke Wagon rare and limited coming? Who knows? Smoke Wagon is a black box. We do have some of the uncut, unfiltered, like a significant amount. So that should be fun. Got an email a while back saying they were incoming on a K&L email. That's shocking. That doesn't sound like something we would want to advertise. I got 1 or 2 bottles of the recent releases, and they're going to be held back for the lottery because it's just silly. 1 bottle, Everybody. I got 40 emails about that one product, the elevator or whatever it was. But uncut, unfiltered, tastes pretty good. That should be back soon. Hopefully some single barrels. Praying for that. I'm a huge Smoke Wagon fan. So yeah, lottery for the rare barrels, but yes, El Tesoro dinner will be exciting, very, very fun. Mirame is supposed to be out of control good. Super psyched to be having that there. And we're going to continue to do some fun stuff. I see a lot of wines auction at K&L. Are spirits ever auctioned? That's a great question. The answer is no. The laws in California prevent us from selling spirits consignment. So all those auctions are people, usually our customers' wines that they're wanting to get rid of, and we give them an avenue to do that very affordably, almost essentially free if you take the store credit. But it's not allowed for spirits. We can auction our own product that we bought from distributors. But the last time I did a big spirits auction, we got so much heat. I think we put up some Van Winkle or something like that. This is 3-4 years ago. And we got 1,000 phone calls from angry customers saying that we were trying to cash in, blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's like, this is the most fair way to do it. It's not like we're sticking a $3,000 price on there. So we decided not to do that anymore. But instead we do the lottery and save my customer service team a huge headache. But it's not possible really to do it on the regular in the normal way. Anybody running auctions in California is not doing it legally. In New York, no problem. There is a couple of wonderful auction houses there. Getting the stuff out of there is difficult. The lottery is awesome. Let's hope it keeps going. But we'll have something fun at the end of the year for all the good customers. And yeah, there we go. Notes on the Woodinville Woody Creek Rye, the single barrel Woody Creek Rye. I think I have notes up there on that. Do I not? I'll have to revisit that one. That seems silly. Same lottery rules going to apply this year. Who knows, Dan? Who knows? I have no idea what this year will look like. But in general, yes, we'll reward the best customers, not just not just on a dollar for dollar basis, but on a the people who buy K&L exclusives and who buy regularly are going to don't skip the Tomás. It is I would be happy to sell it for twice the price. It's so special. Any news on bottle drop thing? That's the other thing that's happening. No, that'll come in conjunction with the release of our mobile app, which will be a new experience for customers. But there have been, unfortunately, some other things happening in the last year that's made it a little complicated to focus on that. So I think it's coming down the line, but no precise timeline on that. If you can, sign up for that email so you're first in line when it starts. And of course, might as well sign up for any waiting list you see of any regular edition stuff that you're interested in, because that at least gives us a list of people who are interested. But how that all will work is still up in the air. So keep an eye out on that. Yas says we should just have a Royal Rumble to see who wins the lottery. I would pay to watch that, but those bourbon guys get pretty feisty, and I would think that ownership probably wouldn't sanction that, although the UFC might. So who knows? Otherwise, we don't have great. We're trying to figure out a good, equitable way to spread the love around on all the rare stuff out there. In the end, there's only so much stuff, and hopefully we'll get more of the good stuff. And at the very least, we're going to try and put out single barrels that are worthy of our wonderful and knowledgeable customers. So we'll see. But looks like Chuck and Yaz are going head to head in the first battle to the death lottery brawl, but that should be exciting. It's been pretty real, guys. Check out the Calumet 15, Calumet Farm 15, Malbien Black Tape, the Papalote from Tomás, and the lovely Glen Elgin. Why not? Why not? A little beautiful butterfly. That is, I can't even read the name, so voila. It is gorgeous, though. Kind of matches the color of the whiskey. Cool. Thanks for coming through. Any other questions before I say goodbye? You've been training your whole life to ask for that? Oh, God. Chuck's kind of a badass, though, so watch out. Take a punch for some hype bourbon. Well, there you go. The Tomás Papalote is amazing. And the Cinco Sentidos, yes, amazing, too. Just some backpacker knows his stuff. Do you know if the 2004 Golden Devil Guyanese rum will ever be back in stock? No, it will not. It will not be back in stock. It was a single barrel. It has sold out. That was a very odd, unusual barrel, by the way. Definitely had that Versailles kind of putty and funky, plasticky stuff. But that will not be back in stock. I don't have another Versailles on the horizon. They had another one for us, but it's tough to do the same barrel over and over like that unless it's Caroni. That Caroni is nuts. Lafroig 18 in the summer. What is that about? Question mark. I purchased one and like a glutton, I finished it too quickly. Well, I might have one stashed for you, Nathan. Shoot me an email about it. I recall someone might have returned one because of the torn label. So if you don't care about that, I'm happy to sell you one of those. But that was, that was going into the staff pool, but we'd rather you have it. I actually, I much prefer you to have it if you don't care about the label. So shoot me an email. I might have one bottle left on that. And that's all I got. What Lafroig 18 is it? Kalila 18. That's the one. Get that Kalila Gordon MacPhail. The Scapa 20-year sherry and the Kleinlease are also coming behind. They're supposedly in bottle. And Gordon MacPhail's been killing it this year. Super cool stuff. Looking at a Ben Romack barrel in sherry. The St. Lucia Vendome is like Peroni Jr. Yes. Just some backpacker really knows what he's talking about. Do you work for K&L? Who are you? I like this guy. So yes, I'm a huge fan of the St. Lucia stuff. Super undervalued. We have 2 in stock still. I haven't marketed them. Don't tell my marketing team, who can obviously watch this anytime. They should sell, but I just want to keep them forever. I don't want people to know how good they are. I do want people to know how good they are. Of course, I want to sell them, but I like having them. So we'll probably put together. There's so much cool stuff in rum happening, and Chairman's Reserve is at the top of the list. We've got some interesting Hamden coming. The Caroni this new barrel of Caroni is just as good, if not better, than the last one. It's a big old barrel too, so we have good stock on it, which I know was a problem in the last one, and a lot of people were upset that they missed it. And they're not inexpensive, but considering the 98 Caronis are selling for €600-700, $200 for this stuff is pretty good. So keep an eye out for that. I think I'm going to load up the rums today or tomorrow. So that's the Caroni, the Foursquare, the Hamden, and there's one more. I forget. Maybe it's only 3. So that's exciting stuff. So yeah, good stuff. And then next week check out Laws, and the week after Richard Seal will be here. Very, very excited for that. So thanks for coming through, guys. Be well. Ciao.